May 4, 2015, from the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. It was Game 1 from the 2015 NBA Playoff Round 2 matchup between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Houston Rockets. And no Chris Paul for LA, is he wasn't able to play because of the injured hamstring that he suffered in Game 7 versus the Spurs, but Austin Rivers comes out and hits a three for the first points of the game. The two teams trade the lead early in the first quarter. Trevor Ariza buried a three for Houston, and then Crawford responded with a 12-footer to tie the game at 12. Ariza came back with another trade and gave the Rockets the lead at 15-12. The lead would change for the fourth and fifth times, but at the end of the quarter, it was 25-19 Houston. Houston came out strong early in the second and pushed their lead to as many as 13 points when Pablo Prigioni hit a trade to make it 37-24. The Clippers kept fighting back, and Blake Griffin would drive the lane and draw the foul for an and one that brought the Clippers to within three with the score 45-42 with about a minute and a half left before halftime. Then in the closing moments of the first half, Blake Griffin would go to the line to shoot two and make both shots, and it was 50-46, Houston in the lead by 4 at halftime. So the Clippers cut the lead down to 4 after trailing by 13 during the second quarter. The Clippers opened things up in the third quarter offensively. Austin Rivers hit a three to make it a 1-point game with just 1.5 minutes into the third quarter. Harden would drive the lane and then hit a three to push the Rockets' lead back to 6 at 57-51, but the Clippers kept chipping away at the lead, and then with 5 minutes left in the third, the Rockets sent DeAndre Jordan to the free throw line. Jordan hit both shots, and then a steal by Austin Rivers set up a deuce by Redick, and the Clippers were in the lead for the first time since the first quarter with the score 66-65. Jason Terry gave the Rockets the lead right back with a three to make it 68-66, but Austin Rivers responded with a three of his own, giving LA the lead back by 1 at 69-68. That sparked a 10-2 run with the Clippers now up 76-70, and by the end of the quarter, the Clippers would remain up by 6 with the score 83-77. The Rockets would get within 1 point with about 7 minutes left in this game in the fourth, but then Matt Barnes drained a tray to make it 92-88, and then about a minute and a half later, he drained another tray to make it 96-88, followed by a tray from Crawford to make it 99-88. Fast forward to just over 2 minutes left in the game, and Jason Terry hit a three for Houston to bring the Rockets within 8 points, but after a pair of free throws from Crawford and a dunk by Matt Barnes, Austin Rivers buried his fourth three-pointer of the game to make it 112-97, followed by a three from Redick to make it 115-97. And any thoughts of a comeback were squashed as the Clippers would finish up by 16 points with the final score 117-101 LA. So the Rockets were within 1 point in the fourth quarter and end up losing by 16 points to the Clippers. And the Los Angeles Clippers had 6 players score over double digits as all 5 starters scored in double digits. DeAndre Jordan had a double-double, and Blake Griffin had a triple-double. So Blake Griffin, 26 points, 14 boards, 13 assists, and a steal. So he's picked up the slack there on the assist without Chris Paul being in the lineup. Matt Barnes, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 13. Matt Barnes, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, and 2 blocks. Redick, 17 points, 2 boards, 2 assists, and a steal. Austin Rivers, 17 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 4 steals. And DeAndre Jordan, 10 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 4 blocks in the game. And off the bench, Jamal Crawford, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. And Big Baby had 4 points, 2 rebounds, and Turkoglu 2 points in the game as well. And for the Rockets, they had 4 of their 5 starters scoring double digits, and Prigioni had double digits off the bench. James Harden, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 12 assists, and 4 steals. He had a double-double. Dwight Howard also had a double-double with 22 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 5 blocks. Trevor Ariza, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and a block. Jason Terry, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals. And off the bench, Pablo Prigioni, 11 points, 1 board, 3 assists, and a steal. Josh Smith, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal. Corey Brewer, 6 points, 1 board, 1 assist, and 1 steal. And Smith and Brewer both shot just 3 for 12 from the field in this game. Brewer missed all 5 3-point attempts that he took and both free throws that he attempted. Smith just hitting 1 of 5 from downtown. So both of them really just kind of disappeared. Jones also just 1 of 6 from the field. So the Rockets were struggling to hit shots. Of course, Harden and Howard, they were hitting their shots. And Harden 3 of 6 from 3-point land, 6 of 13 from the field. Overall, the Rockets 45.2 from the field. The Clippers 48.8. The Clippers 13 of 31 from downtown for 41.9%. Versus 33.3% for the Rockets, hitting 11 of 33. So 24 3-pointers in the game between the two teams. But the Clippers shooting almost 10 points higher, about 9 points higher. And from the line, though, that was a real difference for the Clippers in this game, is excellent shooting from the free throw line, especially DeAndre Jordan, 6 of 11. Not the best, but Blake Griffin, 8 for 10. Rivers, 3 for 4. Redick, 2 for 2. Also, Crawford 2 for 2. They hit 22 of 30 shots from the foul line, 73.3%. So they definitely have upped their free throw percentage shooting. And the Rockets were shooting more like the Clippers are known to shoot from the foul line, hitting just 58.3% of their free throws, 14 of 24. And on the boards, the Clippers hit the boards hard, as they had 42 rebounds versus 35, as they won the battle of both the offensive and defensive boards. That was really the difference in that third quarter, was their rebounding is what allowed them some second chances, allowed them to actually take the lead. And also assists, 31 to 24 in favor of the Clippers. Both teams 14 steals. The Rockets had more blocks at 8 to 6. But they were getting good ball movement. The Clippers were, even without Chris Paul there, it's at 13 assists for Blake Griffin. Austin Rivers doing a good job in place of Chris Paul, although no one can really take his place, but they can win one without him. This is a huge win for the Clippers to take this game in Houston, game 1, without Chris Paul. Just think, once he gets back in the lineup, what chance does Houston really have? Of course, Houston is a good team, and this should be an interesting series. I expect to go 6, maybe 7 games, but after the way this game went, you never know, it might end up just going 5, especially once Chris Paul gets back on the floor. And then early on, it looked like Houston had this one, especially in the first quarter. Of course, LA outscored them by 2 as they closed the gap in the second. But then in the second half, they outscored Houston by 20 points in the second half, as they scored 71 versus 51 in the second half, outscoring them by 10 points in each of the third and fourth quarters. So the Clippers coming up big in the second half. That's the thing, they saw that they could hang with the Rockets even without Chris Paul. They said a huge performance by Austin Rivers, and of course the monster performance by Blake Griffin, coming up super clutch for the Clippers with that triple-double. And LA gets the win on the road in Game 1 to take the 1-0 lead in the series. The final score in Game 1, Los Angeles 117, Houston 101.